Welcome to our daily news segment on 24 Hours channel. We hope you will find the information useful. Don't forget to like and share to support the program. Now let's move on to the detailed news.
Dear valued audience, this morning, Typhoon Doksuri is currently at Category 15 strength, with gusts reaching Category 17, moving northward towards Luzon Island, Philippines, and is expected to further intensify in the coming days. Within the next 24 hours, the typhoon may gain more strength and intensity. By tomorrow morning, it will be near the coastal area of northern Luzon Island. After passing through this region, the typhoon will continue to move northwest towards the South China Sea, south of Taiwan. In the following day, the typhoon will continue to move mainly northwestward at a speed of approximately 15 kilometers per hour, with its intensity gradually decreasing to Category 13 to 15 and gusts of Category 17. At this time, Typhoon Doksuri will be operating close to the South China Sea, so a slight change in direction could lead it into the area. Due to its influence, the eastern waters of the northern South China Sea will experience strong winds, gradually reaching Category 6 to 7 today. By the afternoon and evening, the winds will become strong at Category 7 to 8, then further increasing to Category 9 to 10, with the waters near the center of the typhoon experiencing Category 11 to 13 winds and gusts reaching Category 16, causing turbulent seas. Ladies and gentlemen, a strong earthquake measuring 4.7 on the Richter scale occurred in the southern waters of Hainan Island on Saturday afternoon and was felt in Trusun, Guangdong, and other areas. According to the official measurements by China's seismological network, at 13:04, a 4.7 magnitude earthquake occurred in the southern waters of Hainan Island, at a location of 22.57 degrees north latitude and 118.47 degrees east longitude, with a depth of 10 kilometers. After the incident, netizens in Trusun and other areas in Guangdong reported feeling shocked. Among them, a netizen in Sandao said he was lying on his bed when the earthquake happened, and the bed was shaking constantly, with some even mentioning that the windows were rattling. Today, around 5 o'clock in the morning, a 4.5 magnitude earthquake occurred in Dongyuan County, Heilongjiang City, Guangdong Province. People in Guangzhou and Shenzhen reported feeling the earthquake distinctly. The Hong Kong Observatory also received reports from over 100 citizens who felt slight tremors. Due to the earthquake's impact, some high-speed train services on the Guangzhou-Shenzhen line and the Beijing-Heilongjiang line have been suspended or delayed. China's seismic network officially determined that a 4.5 magnitude earthquake occurred in Dongyuan County, Heilongjiang City, with the epicenter located at 3.84 degrees north latitude and 114.52 degrees east longitude, at a depth of 10 kilometers. The epicenter is near the Tanfuangjiang Reservoir in Dongyuan County, Heilongjiang City, 12 kilometers from Taishuang Town, Dongyuan County, Heilongjiang City, 21 kilometers from Binthan District, Heilongjiang City, 21 kilometers from the city center of Heilongjiang, and 151 kilometers from Guangzhou City. The earthquake was strongly felt in the urban area of Heilongjiang and was evident in Chaozhou and Chaojiang. No reports of casualties or property damage have been received at the local level. Although it was a noticeable earthquake, many people were still asleep during the early morning tremors. Some netizens mentioned that they did not feel anything and were surprised that they slept so soundly. Due to the earthquake's impact, some trains passing through the Guangzhou-Shenzhen high-speed railway between the North Heilongjiang and North Botlak stations have been suspended, and some trains between the Daqing and Huiqiao stations on the Beijing-Heilongjiang Railway are running at limited speeds. The trains passing through these sections will experience varying degrees of delay. Zhongtan Evening News reported that the epicenter of the earthquake is about 20 kilometers from Hanoi City Thuangbu Fault, and within 100 kilometers from the epicenter, there have been 4 earthquakes of 5 Richter scale or above. The most recent earthquake with an intensity of 3 Richter or above was a 4.3 Richter earthquake in Yuancheng District, Heilongjiang City, last Friday, located 15 kilometers from the epicenter. The Guangdong Seismological Bureau stated that based on a comprehensive analysis of the near epicenter structural characteristics, historical seismic activity, types of earthquake sequences, and abnormal geophysical phenomena, There is no possibility of an earthquake of 5 Richter or above occurring in the initial earthquake area in the near future. According to the China Seismic Network, at 20:57 on Sunday, a 3.7 Richter magnitude earthquake occurred in Dongyuan County, Heilongjiang City, Guangdong Province, at coordinates 23.85 degrees north latitude and 114.50 degrees east longitude, with a depth of 9 kilometers. The Hong Kong Observatory received reports from more than 10 citizens who felt the tremor. Yuan Lapvi, deputy director of the Guangdong Seismic Station, said that Guangdong is currently entering a relatively active seismic period, but from the perspective of Guangdong and even southern China, the current seismic activity is within the normal range. Netizens in Guangzhou and Dongguan said they felt the tremors clearly. One netizen in Guangzhou even said, "I felt it in Guangzhou. The whole room was shaking, and it was terrifyingly clear." The Hong Kong Observatory received reports from more than 10 citizens who felt slight tremors lasting a few seconds. Preliminary analysis shows that the earthquake intensity in Hong Kong is 3.3 degrees on the modified Mercalli intensity scale, meaning it was felt indoors, similar to the vibration of a small truck passing by. Earlier, Heilongjiang experienced 2 earthquakes in one day. Heilongjiang City, Guangdong, where the Tanfangjiang Reservoir is located, is the main source of the earthquakes felt by local residents. Around 5 o'clock in the morning of last Tuesday, a 4.5 Richter magnitude earthquake occurred in Dongyuan County, Heilongjiang City, and people in Guangzhou and Shenzhen reported feeling the earthquake distinctly. Another earthquake of 4.3 Richter scale also occurred in Vinthan District, Heilongjiang City, last Tuesday. Nam Phuong Net reported that Vuong Lapvi, deputy director of the Guangdong Seismic Station, explained that Heilongjiang is located on the Hongnian Huangbu Fault, the Thatchjout and Quangbok-Dean Fault, and other fault zones, along with the leakage of the Tanfangjiang Reservoir, which creates structural conditions that are prone to earthquakes, leading to a relatively high number of earthquakes in the area. Vuong Lapvi pointed out that, based on historical records, there have been 4 earthquakes of 5 Richter scale or above in the Heilongjiang region, with the largest earthquake being a 6.1 Richter earthquake in 1962. Since 1970, many small earthquakes have been recorded in the Heilongjiang area, including quite a few earthquakes of 3 to 3 Richter scale. Guangdong is currently entering a relatively active seismic period. Earlier, the domestic media Daily Economic News reported that in connection with the 2 earthquakes that occurred in Heilongjiang City on July 18 this year and the 4.3 Richter earthquake that occurred in Heilongjiang City 2 weeks before, Vuong Lapvi explained at that time that these earthquakes occurred at the Tanfangjiang Reservoir and were normal seismic activities in the reservoir area. Vuong Lapvi said at that time, "Recently, seismic activity in the Heilongjiang area has increased, but from the perspective of Guangdong and even southern China, the current seismic activity is within the normal range." Since the beginning of this year, earthquakes have occurred in Fatsan, Heilongjiang, and other places in Guangdong, indicating an active seismic period in Guangdong. Vuong Lapvi explained at that time that seismic activity in Guangdong can be roughly divided into 2 major cycles, based on a cycle of over 300 years. Preliminary analysis indicated that Guangdong currently belongs to the 5th seismic activity phase of the 2nd main cycle and has entered a relatively active seismic phase. However, from the perspective of Guangdong and even southern China, the current seismic activity is within the normal range. Ladies and gentlemen, hundreds of thousands of people have been evacuated from their homes in southern China, including Guangdong and Jiangxi provinces, as floods and landslides occur in the region, experiencing the heaviest rainfall since 1961. According to Reuters, last Friday, the 2 provinces in southern China, Guangdong and Jiangxi, raised flood warnings as rivers overflowed and reached record high levels, forcing residents to evacuate and disrupting normal activities after weeks of heavy rainfall. In Sichuan City, Guangdong Province, where the average rainfall since late May has broken records, the flood warning has been raised to the highest level, Level 1. Local authorities have requested residents along the riverbanks and in low-lying areas to move to higher ground, as the water level has reached the highest in 50 years. Images posted by Chinese media show people gathering at schools converted into temporary shelters in Sichuan City, Guangdong Province. Hundreds of tents were set up on the sports ground. Danbin City, Guangdong Province, near Sichuan, also raised the flood warning to the highest level around noon on the same day as the water level rose. Last Thursday, the Guangdong provincial government reported that over 200,000 people were evacuated during the flooding, and the province has incurred an estimated damage of around 1.7 billion Chinese yuan, approximately $254 million US. According to Xinhua news agency, in Jiangxi province, the authorities issued a red alert for floods after 485,000 people in 9 counties were affected. The economic losses there have amounted to 470 million Chinese yuan, about 21 million US, with 43,300 hectares of crops damaged. In Fujian province, over 220,000 people have been evacuated since the beginning of this month due to the floods, according to Xinhua news agency. In Guangxi, muddy water flooded urban areas, and rescue teams evacuated people in rubber boats. Summer rains and subsequent floods occur in China almost every year. However, climate change groups warned that climate change could bring larger and more frequent heavy rainfall. The China Meteorological Administration reported that the average rainfall in Guangdong, Fujian, and Guangxi provinces from early May to mid-June this year reached 621 millimeters, the highest since 1961. With heavy rains continuing to hit southern and eastern China, this week, the Global Times reported that 85 rivers nationwide have experienced floods above the warning level. According to Reuters, videos shared on Chinese social media showed large amounts of rainwater turning streets into rivers in at least 2 counties in Guizhou province, southwestern China. Cars and single-story houses were swept away. Rainfall in some areas has been recorded as the highest in 60 years. In the neighboring Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region, a wooden house collapsed due to heavy rain, resulting in 5 fatalities. The region also reported several landslides and road collapses. On Wednesday, the China Meteorological Administration forecasted that heavy rains will continue in Guizhou, Guangxi, Anhui, Zhejiang, and Guangdong provinces until early next week. Specifically, rainfall in southern China will begin to decrease on Friday. According to local meteorological agencies, this year's early summer thunderstorms have been more intense and prolonged than usual. Rainfall in Guangxi, Guangdong, and Fujian has been the highest since 1961. Viet Vu Viet, an expert at weather.com, CN under the China Meteorological Administration, explained. The convergence of cold and warm air masses in southern China leads to air disturbances and triggers rainfall. Summer is the time when floods commonly occur in China, but in recent years, the impact of floods has tended to be more severe due to deforestation, land reclamation, and construction of dams and water conservancy projects. Climate change is also believed to contribute to this situation. This concludes today's news summary. If you have any contributions or comments, please leave them in the comments section. If you find this helpful, give us a like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your attention and see you next time.
The recent information also marks the end of the comprehensive news bulletin for today. We will continue to update the latest information in the upcoming bulletin. Please subscribe to the 24 Hours channel to stay updated. For now, goodbye and see you again.